We come into the summer. As we enter the summer, really the most major things have happened in this past summer, and that is we crossed the line as a nation. We can't get around it. We crossed the line with the Supreme Court. The White House was lit up in the colors of the rainbow. This was major. This is again, remember, the rainbow is not, but does not belong to man. It belongs to God.
That's right.
And
That's
this
right.
is this is taking the sign of God and celebrating its two desecrations at once. And remember that in the Bible, before judgment comes an act of desecration. So we did it. We did it. One of the Harbingers, the tower, soon after that, a lot of people didn't focus on this. They put that in the rainbow. If you look at the spire on that thing, they lit it up in a rainbow. I believe we have a picture of it. And that, by the way, that spire looks like a Muslim minaret. I won't go into that much, but that's on top of that tower, which is right above the words that the president put in there about we will come back stronger, we will rebuild. Right above the words of defiance on the Tower of Defiance is a sign of defiance right there. But also, another thing about timing is that in ancient Israel, when judgment came, what happened before judgment came, before the Babylonians destroyed the city, the first walls of the city were breached. That was the beginning. Once you take away those defensive walls, judgment was coming. Well, to this day, it's commemorated. That day that the protective walls are removed was the 9th of Tammuz, the 9th of the month of Tammuz. What happened on the 9th of the month of Tammuz here, this year? That's the day that we struck down marriage in this land. On the day from the Bible of removing the hedge that prevents judgment. What happened in the same summer? What happened is that it came out not only that we were offering up our children, but we were selling them. We were selling the parts of aborted children. What happened? A little bit of outrage, gone.
Yeah.
We're still funding them. We're
Yeah.
still paying for it. We're
Yeah.
still ultimately paying for it, no matter what, paying for that. So here you have two of the signs of the last days of Israel before judgment. Then one other sign, the word in Hebrew for abomination is shikutz. Shikutz also means idol. The word for idol means abomination. That's why when you read Revelation, it talks about the abomination, desolation. Well, that's an idol, because in Hebrew, that shikutz is the same word. Same word. So what happened? So in the last days of ancient Israel, the signs of the abominations, the gods of foreign gods appear in the land. What happened the same moment when we crossed the line, when we did this? In New York City, on one of the highest towers in the world, the Empire State Building, they put the image of an abomination, false god, Kali, the face of Kali, staring across New York City. They put this god, the Kali is the god of destruction, is the god of death, is the god of darkness over New York City. There has never, probably in the history of planet Earth, there has never been an image of a false god, an idol as big as that one. That has to be the largest in the history of man. Since this time, we have also put believers in prison for simply saying, I cannot go along with the apostasy. That's never happened before. That's what happened in the last days of Israel. When judgment came from Babylon, Jeremiah was in prison because they imprisoned the righteous. Another sign of severe apostasy. We've done that as well. We have candidates running. We have one who said this, and again, there's the quote, you would think it's from the Communist Party, that said, deep-seated religious beliefs must be changed. Must be changed. Why? This is a leading candidate of one of the parties. Why? So that abortion, the killing of children, can expand. This is where we are right now.
Yeah.
This is where we are right now. So now we've crossed all these lines, and we have now entered the period of decision where we make decisions about the future. And remember, the word decision also is the word judgment. Judgment and decision. A decision has passed. We are at now this crucial time when we are either going to seal all these things or not. Interesting that Supreme Court Justice Scalia passed away right in the middle of all this, which means that the Supreme Court, where we talked about judgment and decisions and the future, now if it is not replaced with someone who is strong for the ways of God, the ways of the Word, it's going to be majority every time on every decision.
Yeah.
Religious liberty, taxing of churches, abortion, immorality, everything. It's almost like we're at this total ceiling point. So where we are now it's the signs are in our court. What we will do now as we approach this election, because this is our choice. It's our judgment on the future, but it's ultimately God's judgment in the end. That's where we are.
Wow.
Crucial time.
Crucial.
One of the other things we don't often talk about is that you cannot have all these things happening in America unless the state of the church is what it is.
Right.
In other words, it's linked to that. There's been a real silence. There's been a real kind of self-obsession. God, make me more prosperous. God, make me more successful. You're my personal counselor. God wants the best for you. We've turned inward and we have dropped the mantle. You could not have this happening if the light of the world was the light. If the church in America was the light or the salt. Could not have it. Could not happen. So that's this as well.